Hi, I thought it would be fun to, I guess, give a quick update whilst I wait for my Uber. I am on my way to the airport because I have a trip, and I believe this will be a pretty good airplane or trip read or vacation read. I'm going for the whole weekend, and I'm only maybe like one chapter in. Usually, I like to read like two chapters when I'm traveling to see if the book is worth it. But I was reading this while I was on lunch at break, and I was laughing audibly. And I caught myself laughing and I said, am I exaggerating? Then I laughed again at something else and I was like, aha, you got me, right? And then I just saw like a YouTuber I watched talk about the movie and say it's like a, peak queer romance and queer connection. And I was like, okay. All the signs are pointing that this book or this story might just be really good. Now, I will say one thing that's been very interesting to see is oh boy, the writing style is a bit more different than what I really prefer or I'm used to. So I like reading from like first person, and I think this book is written in, I think it's second or third. Basically, I'm not reading from someone's point of view, which is what I usually prefer. I sound literate because I don't know what it means, but so I'm reading from like a, and then he did this, and then he said this, and then he walked up to this person, and it's pretty interesting. I can't really say much about it thus far, but I just met the kids of the president of the United States, who is a woman. Thank God. I'm going to enjoy this as much as I can. And then I just met the prince or the Prince of Wales from like the royal family, and they literally just met for the first time in the book, which is pretty good. So I'm going to read this in my Uber while I go, and we'll see how this goes, and we'll see how it is, at the airport. I'm going to be at the airport for a while before my flight, and yeah, hopefully I don't regret it. But thus far, I'm enjoying it. And I will say, the cover of this book, I'm still conflicted. Like, it's too pink. Not that it matters, but like, it's too pink. And one more thing that's a bit challenging is, because I've seen the people who like are, the actors for the movie, I'm finding it a bit hard to kind of like, curate my own vision of who these people might be, because I feel like when I'm reading, I like to kind of like have my own vision. But because I've seen the trailer for the movie, or just the people, not the trailer, because I don't want to spoil it, but like, I'm babbling. Basically, I'm finding it a bit hard to visualize who I would see. But that might change. It's subject to change. And yep. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Security from our door buildings. I mean, there was no security before from our door buildings. They need to get that security ASAP. We need to have the actual units driving through patrol. We need to
stand up to his mom's new boyfriend, and he just seems not that nice, but he's actually a complex character because he's always popping these, what are they called?
Forgive that noise. So this is the day after I landed in Miami. I got here last night, and Beyonce is today. But in other news, I'm over 100 pages in this book. I indeed did read this book on the plane. I turned on the light like I did for Yellowface. But I kind of took a nap because I got a bit tired. It was a night flight as well. And I will say, thus far, love it. I love the characters. I love the book. I love the premise. And I just really am enjoying how comedic this book is. It's funny. Let's start. It's really funny, and the characters as well are not so one-dimensional, because sometimes I feel like when you're reading like a very funny, hilarious book, you kind of just let it slide how you don't really care about some characters. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the depth, and I mean, again, it's only 100 pages in, but I'm like, it's unraveling. It's pretty good thus far. And I will say, I'm seeing how the romance is slowly climbing up with Alex and Henry, so the son of the United States and the Prince of wherever, England. I'm seeing how it's slowly starting, and yeah, I'm in for a ride. But I'm just giving like a little update. I'm gonna read this. My friends are getting ready. We're all getting ready, and I'm going to take this with me to Beyonce. I hope I'm allowed to, because I really want to. And yeah. It's really fun. Now I will say, my friend has seen the movie twice. He said, and there's someone in the movie that's in the book that he said is not in the movie, and I'm already upset because it's a very vital character thus far. But this is why the books are always better than the movies anyway. But I'm having a good time. I can't wait to jump back into this, and we'll see what's up. I look a mess. It is Sunday morning. I'm like 100 and something pages in still. And I just told my friend, who's actually my friend who recommended this book to me, that this book is not my style as much. And I remember saying this earlier in the vlog that the narrative voice wasn't something I'm used to. However, a bit further into the book, I'm enjoying the narrative voice. The narrative voice feels like a gossip. So it's like we're reading about these guys, and the narrative voice is like giving all the tea to me, and it's really, really enjoyable. Now, I'm past the mark where these two guys, the Prince of England and the First Son of the United States, have, had a lot of fun. And it's just really, really enjoyable and a bit realistic to see how they're kids. Like, they're like in their early 20s, and you can see how they're really, really just like acting raw and being horny. It's fucking ridiculous, and I love it. And so far, all the characters are really, really enjoyable in their own right. I don't really hate anyone. I don't think there's anything to hate about anyone. It's a very, very fluffy book. Again, not my particular taste, but I'm enjoying it thus far. I'm really happy I took it on this trip. And Alex, who's the first son of the United States, is a really, really interesting character because, like, in the beginning, you see how he's like very what's what I'm looking for? Career driven, in politics, and he wants to help with his mom's second term campaign. And then when he starts to see if he likes Henry or he hates Henry, you get to see his like sexual deviations, and he's trying to see if he's bi, thinking of like past hookups and experiences. It's a really, really interesting and really, really realistic read as well. So I'm not like, I haven't rolled my eyes to say, oh my god, this would never happen. Everything feels really, really raw in a good way. Now, to say all that, the narrative voice, which I really enjoy as well, also feels a bit immature, only because there are some like ad libs that I'm like, fair, you know what I mean? And it's almost like the narrative voice is Alex's point of view throughout the whole book. I'm yet to like read and see that it's the other guy. So I don't know if there's going to be like a change in the narrative voice, which I don't think is really possible. I don't know, but that's like my only comma, is that like it sounds like it's reading from Alex's point of view. So it's really, really talking like how he does, the way he curses and the way he reacts to things, which I don't really know what the word is for it. I'm going to look it up, but I'm having a good time. My flight is later tonight. I'm probably going to read and run through this book till I'm tired, but so far so good. I don't hate it. I'm really, really curious to see what happens and how this relationship, if at all it's going to happen, will progress as well. So fun times. Hello. I am almost done with this book. I'm back home, obviously, and so far so good. I'm loving this book. However, I'm at the point you get to when you're reading a romance where you're like, okay, where are we headed? And I think that's like that's the point of a romance. You're not supposed to like expect some big reveal, but I'm really, really enjoying this book. It just makes me feel really warm and really cozy. Like, I woke up from my nap after work and I just got back into it. So it just makes me feel really happy in a way, and it's very comforting, I must admit, and I'm loving it. I don't hate anyone. Everything's going pretty well. It's just I really have nothing objectively bad to say. I have nothing to say. I'm just like, but I think I'm also ready to get on with it and be done with it. But I'm also excited to see how this ends, because in theory this relationship is not supposed to work out. The Prince of Wales and the First Son of the United States, it's not supposed to work out. So I am curious to see what kind of happens. I don't know if someone's going to like abdicate the throne or something. And also because I watched the trailer in full, it's like a minute, and it got me a bit more excited to kind of see this movie in live action. But I want to read the book to the end first and kind of have my full picture. But so far so good. It's a cozy read, and to the point that I am in, I will recommend this book for anyone who just needs like a escape. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay. Two things. Number one, this is so odd, but I hate how long the chapters are. Maybe I'm just finding one thing to hate about this book, but like the chapters are so long. And like it's always a lot happening in one chapter. So like, you know how it's like a story following a plot, and like one chapter there's something that's going on, there's a cliffhanger at the end of one chapter, but this one is just a lot piled into one. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but it throws me off all the time. Or like there's always a gap in a paragraph and then there's like a whole new month of storyline and like catching up, and it's like, okay, after several months it's ridiculous, but I don't really mind it. It's, you know, it's what it is. But on a serious note, secondly, just got to the part where minor spoiler, but like Alex went to Texas for a little vacation with his sister, one of his other friends, Nora, and the prince. And it gets to the point where he's like, okay, fuck, I think I really like this guy. And I think the prince has realized it, and he kind of backs up a little bit. And then and then Alex is like, Alex being the first son of the United States, he's like, oh wait, what if this is just how the prince is with everyone? And he must have stepped a bit too close to the sun. And I'm like, now the braids are clicking. Because we must avoid embarrassment at all costs. Ooh, okay. This just got very heated, and my God, I'm scared. My heart is beating. I'm scared because I can't afford the heartbreak right now. Everyone seems so sweet, and okay. Hi. I thought it would be fun to have a little, you know, chit chat because I'm almost done with this book and I'm going to be wrecked. I can't. I literally could be done with this by tonight. Shortly before, I had just mentioned that nothing spectacular had happened in this book. I was waiting for some like plot twist. Well, I got it. It's like I got exactly what I was asking for. So, I mean, at this point, I feel like I've already said the majority of this book, but there was some sort of like mini breakup that wrecked me, and I was on my couch, and I was like, oh my God, no, this is embarrassing, because Alex was about to profess his love for the prince, and the prince was, in his mind, he's like, oh no, this can't work, and he just leaves. And they were in a cabin in Texas or something, and he just like leaves first thing in the morning. So Alex catches a red eye to England the next day or next 2 days, and is like trying to yell the whole place down in Kensington Palace. Oh my God, I'm so stressed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. This is why I said I cannot welcome romance right now. But I'm so in my feelings. Like I feel so overwhelmed. It's ridiculous. But oh my gosh, this book is doing a number on me. And now I think I might just be, unfortunately, getting into a romance slump where I will read a lot of romance books just to feel the same thing that I am feeling right now. I was reading at work, and there was some like little cute phrases and instances and scenes and moments where I was like, oh my God. And this is the thing, I've read a lot of books that have been translated into movies that I know already what would be like, you know, what would transpire, and then they would cut it out. And most of these things I feel genuinely they would not do in the movie because they probably just would not know how to. So I was at work reading them, and I didn't have my highlighter because I always like to just revisit moments that I think we all like to do this, just revisit moments that I believe have really good potential in a book. So I, dog-eared them or dog-marked them or whatever, and I thought when I come home, I'm going to revisit those parts, right? So it's not a lot of them. Okay, there we go. Okay. We have one right here. There's a really interesting part that talks about the King James Version of the Bible. And it says because the King of England was having a relationship with someone else, the institution or the Church of England wasn't really happy with James for like flaunting his relationship. So he translated or commissioned some translation of the Bible just to appease the council. That was really interesting. Then on the second page, there was something else he said. So yeah, Henry is talking about the fact that he's gay and how, like almost everyone, he's not really, or thought it was a part of me had to hide or was, unforgivable. But he says, I always thought of the whole thing as the most unforgivable thing about me, but you act like it's one of the best. It sounds so simple. It doesn't sound like anything spectacular, but my God, my goodness. I mean, isn't that the whole part of like love? When you just love someone's imperfections or what they think might be imperfections wholeheartedly. Swoon. I'm fucking swoon. And then on the next page, something happens. Okay, this was a bit sentimental for me. So Alex has like a necklace of his house in Texas, I believe, on his the key of his house on his necklace before his mom became the president. And while he was leaving the airstrip, after he had like stormed England, so he's leaving now. Him and Henry are made up, and Henry gives him his ring. So I think he's like one of his royal rings or whatever, and he puts them together on his necklace while he's taking off. And they say two homes side by side. Oh my God. Again, there's nothing so spectacular about this, but it's just these little moments that I genuinely felt would not translate the same way in a movie. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me. Okay, was there anything else? One more. We have one more, people. Ooh, okay, this was really, really interesting. And it was a really, really good piece of writing. So Henry's talking about like some phases in his life before he met Alex. And he's saying, he translated that like, all his feelings and how he felt in some certain moments, he just tucked them away in a dark room. Didn't really pay much attention to them. Didn't really care about them. But he met Alex and he says that all he could imagine was like a beautiful garden with leaves of silver maple recited into the water vase. It didn't fit into any of the rooms he had previously with all of his other emotions. And I thought, my God, isn't this just spectacular writing and a beautiful way to just convey your emotions? I'm swoon. And thus far, this book keeps doing a number on me. I have to go to bed for work, but I just thought it was fun. I don't know. I'm really, really enjoying this book. It's going to be sad to be done with this book. And it's going to be even more sad if I then go on like some romance reading fucking rampage. But this book has so many layers to it. And also just feels very like, I've never had to be in a relationship where like I had to move heaven and earth and like my family, it's never been that serious. But like I can imagine this is exactly what it would feel like. Everything I'm feeling, everything they're feeling with like friends and families and friends of the family. Okay, anyway, that's enough rambling for now. And you know what's going to happen. Unless something else happens, which I hope nothing else happens to break my heart. But I'm going to come back and give my final thoughts. Bye. Hello. I finished Red Rise and Royal Blue a weekend ago, and I've had time to settle. But let me tell you something very funny. I finished that book, and I watched the movie immediately. And my God, if you've not watched the movie and I want to read the book, read the book. That's what I'm gonna say. Read the book. But my God, so it's raining right now, and the first thing that came to mind, which is really what reminded me to like finish the video of the vlog, was it's so cozy, and that's exactly what that book feels like. I'll tell you something here. That I remember if you watched my videos, there was a book haul that I did talking about Red Rise and Royal Blue, and I was talking about how the premise sounded cute but not really inviting or interesting. That's what it is. It's a cute book, but I wish I read that book when I was in secondary school and high school, not because of anything in particular, but because that's the kind of romance that I wish my mind and my body or my soul or my heart just led with. The kind of like impossible love can happen in any way to anyone kind of feel. That's the kind of romance I wish, I was introduced to immediately, and not the tragic bullshit that happened in my past life, whatever. But my God, that's an amazing book. That's an amazing book. Now, if you know me, you know there are two things that I can think of off the top of my head that really make a book great for me. Number one is an amazing side character. This book has not one, not two, but three, actually four amazing side characters. Now, I don't want to say too much, so I don't ruin the book for you, because I think this is a book that you don't really want to be ruined for. You don't want to like go in and just feel fluffy. And this almost really feels, it's right here, look. This almost feels like a fall read where it's like cozy and you just cozy up in your bed, because that's how I finished the book actually. I got back from work, I didn't really have much to do, so I just got in bed and I cozied up and I finished the whole thing, right? And it had amazing side characters. Like, the romance going on between the President of the United States and the Prince of England, cute, great, nothing bad about it. It was really, in many ways, quite realistic, and oh my gosh, there were so many gems as well. We'll get back to that in a second. But every time like they would go back to like respective lives, because they also had like driving plots with certain characters as well, you would just see how the characters in their lives just felt so real and so raw. And I was like, I love you. Like, I want to know what you're doing when I flip the page. Like, when we're done with this person and they go to bed, what are you up to? What are you scrolling? Like, what is your, when you're doom scrolling at night, what does your For You page look like? That's what I was thinking, and that's what really makes an amazing side character. Number two, an ending sequence. Okay, when I say ending sequence, I just mean, depending on the kind of book, right? So romance, I really give romance novels legacy when I think of ending sequences, because I just think there's really nothing, unless like a dramatic, tragic romance, but there's really nothing, like there's no rush to kind of like, you know, because like, so like in a romance book, which I don't really read a lot of, right? You've kind of gotten the reader from like the beginning when they hopefully love the characters or really love the idea of the love that's going around, right? But like in a thriller or like a mystery, obviously you're driving to the end, you're trying to see what's going to be revealed, and you're like, oh my god, you're holding your seats. Now, with the romance, I felt this way in this book because I'll give you this little preview. There was an election towards the end of the book, and there was a lot more going on and a lot that had been revealed towards the ending, and it was in a way probably going to disrupt the election. So I was like, what's going on? And you just read the book. Now, I wasn't really as satisfied with how the book ended, but I was satisfied with how the romance just kind of concluded. As a reader, I was like, okay, this is what made me kind of just flip through, well, not flip through, but like just toss the book back and watch the movie. And I will say, I've said this before at the beginning of the blog, that the people I saw in the movie, it's not who I saw in my head while I was reading the book. I can't explain it. I think if you read and you like imagine stuff, you can understand what I'm talking about, but that's not really what I saw. Amazing fucking book. Oh my god, there are lots more technical things, but one that comes to mind the most is how they really kind of drove into the British family. So if you're not like me, but like I watched The Crown, I watched all the documentaries, I watched Spencer, because I love Princess Diana, and like, you know, Harry and Meghan's documentary. So everything that has to be royal families, if you've read enough, you kind of really know that aspect, be it fictional or not, because the royal family right now, are kind of like the blueprints of what a lot of people, you know, take inspiration from for their fictional stories. Now, obviously, this book is really fictional, nothing really happened, but there's some interesting references that they made in the book, in a certain point in the book with Henry and Alex, the main characters, where Henry, the prince, was talking about like how they got some statues in their basements, which kind of led to a museum as well, and how they stole some things from like, you know, slaves. And there was an interesting reference to the King James version of the Bible, which, and I had to do my research immediately. I was like, wait, what? So basically he said James was in love with someone called Versailles or Versailles or something like that. He basically had a male lover making him gay. But the church, which if you don't know, the church really drives a certain part of the royal family as well, because they do a lot of things by the church. I'll give you like a very interesting example. But the church wasn't happy, so to just appease the church, he translated or like did a conversion of the Bible from like whatever language it was in before, which makes us have King James version. I was like, and then like a statue which is real as well. I forgot the name of the statue right now, it escapes me, but it's a statue with wings, which doesn't help. A lot of them have wings, but was a gift from one of his lovers that was passed down to his son. And I was like, oh my god, amazing. And I love, so when I was reading the, you know, you like a book when you're reading like the acknowledgements. I don't do that for all books, but the author was talking about how she had a team, even I think from a museum as well, or maybe the royal family, I'm not too sure, or like a royal inquiry on Google or something, that really helped her with research, and I fucking love that. So an example of how the church controls the royal family, if you didn't know, is basically, if you watch The Crown, or if you know anything about history, you can't marry someone who is divorced and the person they divorced is still alive. So great example, Queen Elizabeth the late Queen, had a sister, Margaret, and she wanted to get married to someone called Henry Townsend, I believe. But he was divorced. And Margaret wanted to get married to Townsend, but she really loved him, and the Queen was like, no, he's divorced, it's going to be a disgrace. And it's like, it was even double because it was like, well, how could the Queen's sister be married to someone who's divorced? And then the person that, the guy even divorced is still alive. It was a whole thing. So I don't want to geek out too much, but as you could tell, I really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the fluff. I don't read a lot of gay romances just because I haven't really found too much, I guess, and just on my personal radar. But also, romance is not, I mean, I've been saying it a lot in past videos. I've been trying to steer clear of romance, but here we are. And now I'm reading, I started one as well right now. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Maisie. I wish I had her other book, The Death of Vivek Oji, because that one seems a lot more interesting than this. But we'll see how this goes. I don't really know much about this book anyway. But yeah, I highly recommend, if that's what you were thinking, I recommend that you read Red White and Royal Blue. Read it before you watch a movie if you want to watch a movie at all. And if you watch the movie, a lot of people that I say they don't read said it was still a very, very interesting fluff for them as well. Because my cousin just texted me saying it was a good enough movie for her and it's romance and whatever. But I enjoyed the book. I would reread. Actually, I don't say this all the time, but I would reread it just to kind of get a feel, or I would like go through some things. There were lots of like things that I highlighted and I like dog-eared because I wanted to go back to them. And I think, you know what, I'm going to get them and see, maybe I could just give you like a little preview at the end of this video if you care to, listen and tell you what I dug here, because I thought they were very interesting, which I don't do a lot of books. But if you want to stop here, amazing book, read it. This was a long vlog already probably, and that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Danny, and I hope to see you next week when I'm talking about more books. Feel free to share this video if you think someone will like this book. If you have been looking for a reason, or someone has been looking for a reason to read this book, here's the reason. But I just got a text, I have to go. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys so much. Leave a comment, subscribe, share, like the video. Come back next time, watch my other videos. I talk about books that I really enjoy reading. And I feel very chirpy. I don't know why it's raining. And I have to go outside and run to my car. So I don't know why I sound so excited. But that's the video. I will, oh my gosh, I guess I will, the next book that I think, because I've started this book now and my reaction isn't very pure, but I will, I will vlog something else and read something else and we will read together and yada yada yada. I'm talking too much now, but bye.